everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, today's lesson is going to be a fun one. As you can tell, I've got the C6 LapSteel here, my Asher 8 string. Keep in mind, for all you 6 string players out there, we're really going to be focusing on the top 6 strings, C, E, G, A, C, E, from your 6th string to your 1st string. So just kind of ignore these 2 lower strings, but keep in mind, for all you 8 string players out there, I do like to tune my 7th string to a B flat because that gives me a nice dominant 7th chord. You know, when I play on the 7th string to the highest. So what we're going to be covering in this one is it's going to be all these concepts, chords, ideas for like a blues, kind of a swing blues, right? Where the C6 LapSteel sounds great at. So, you know, artists like Wayne Hancock and stuff have a lot of LapSteel players playing with him, and a lot of what he does is the blues. So I thought, well, it'd be cool to show you just really a few different chord shapes. So not just chords everywhere, but just like basically 4 movable chord shapes, and then taking a standard 12-bar blues, and then I'll show you one way of playing it, and then I'll add a couple chord substitutions in there, and I'll kind of complicate it each time a little bit more so you actually know, you know, you can do a 2-5-1 or a 3-6-2-5-1, things like that, and I'll explain what that is in a bit. So anyways, let's jump on into this, and we're going to be in the key of G, but in C6 tuning. So our home base here will be on our 7th fret, 'cause that's our G6 chord, right? Okay, so let's learn these 4 movable chord grips. Now the idea is in each one of these chord grips, I don't have the 5th of the chord in there, and I do have the 6th of the chord in there. So we start off with strings 3, 2, and 1, right? 7th fret, strings 3, 2, 1. The next grip is going to be strings 5, 3, 2. Notice how I omit that 4th string because that's the 5th of my chord. Why am I doing that? Well, it's because each one of these grips that I'm getting ready to show you, we can move it down 2 frets, and it turns it into a dominant 9th chord. And then our 3rd grip here is going to be strings 6, 5, and 3. Right? Now the next grip, remember I said 4 grips? The next grip isn't really, it has the 5th in there and it doesn't have the 6th, but it's a really important position, and it's kind of what I call kind of a secondary home base where it's under your 5 chord. So 5 chord would be a D chord here on our 14th fret, but if we just play strings 3 and 2, that gives us notes that can work over that G chord, right? Okay, so let's go over those grips again. And this will work wherever, so this is 7th fret is a G note, right, on my 6th string. So you just can easily move that to whatever key you want. Just grab these grips. Strings 3, 2, 1. And get used to moving it back 2 frets. Just like that. Strings 5, 3, 2. And strings 6, 5, 3. Okay, now the first, and also let's not forget this one. This G chord right under my D chord, 12th fret, strings 3 and 2. Sorry, 14th fret, strings 3 and 2. So maybe just start, if you're having trouble with these grips, you know, grabbing them, just try to do them over and over again to where you're grabbing those grips. And maybe focus on one grip. Right, and practice moving it down 2 frets. Just like that. Now, we immediately want to go, because we're playing a blues, right? 1, 4, 5, 7th fret, 12th fret, 14th fret. Let's go to our C chord position on our 12th fret. Remember, when you move that back 2 frets, that gives you a dominant, kind of a dominant 7th, dominant 9th sound. It's really a 9th sound, dominant 9th. So we still grab strings 3, 2, 1, move it back 2 frets. Strings 5, 3, 2, move it back 2 frets. Strings 6, 5, 3. Always omitting the 5th of the chord, because when you move the 5th back 2 frets, it gives you the 4th of the chord. That doesn't sound so good. So that being said, you know, if this is G, moving that back 2 frets you can, but it's not going to sound so good because of that whole thing, right? The 5th of the chord's in there. Okay, so then if this is C, under our 1 chord we have a C, just like we had a G on 14, but on right under your 1 chord in home bass position, you've got a C too. Right, strings 3 and 2. Move that up 2 frets to fret 9, and there's your 5 chord, your D. Keep in mind what we just played for C. Move that up 2 frets, and that's your D chord. So let me go ahead and play you this, and maybe what you do, and I'll include these jam tracks in the you know, in the on the lesson too. So what you want to do is, let's just start off with a real simple 12-bar blues where we have 4 bars of 1, 2 bars of the 4 chord, back to 2 bars of the 1, and then 2 bars of the 5, 1, and then 5. You'll hear it. It sounds like a... So I'm just going to grab strings 4, 3, and 2. So what am I doing there? Well, really, all I'm doing, I'm grabbing strings 5, 3, and 2. And like I said, it's 4 bars of the 1 chord. So, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, right before I go into my 4 chord, I can turn that G7, or sorry, G into a G7, G9 chord, really, by moving it 2 frets back. Any of those grips I showed you. And then when I go to that C, at any time, if I want to make, because it's a blues, really any of these can be dominant, I can move that back 2 frets and it sounds great. And then it goes to the 5 chord for 2 bars. And you can do the same thing there. Just all I'm doing there is just grabbing strings 5, 3, and 2. Sometimes I'll grab the upper grip and then walk that 5, 3, 2 grip down.